The only other thing I'd say, especially because, modern man, we're talking about the men in this world right now, is for those that are married and running a business or at a high caliber, executive position. I know, dude, it's a lot. There's a lot of weight on our shoulders where we have to do so much to deliver results for our families, is the wife. And the one thing that she said to me that I gotta believe is common with everybody else's wives too, right? Like maybe, ask your wife too, Ted, is like, she's like, Rick, I'm not asking for a lot. The only thing she ever asked me, which it took me years to realize this now, but is like just time.
Let's impact some men today. I think we're gonna do a great job.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Modern Man Podcast, where we are focused on connecting men in pursuit of their potential. I encourage you to join us as we embrace discomfort, cultivate community, and put wind in each other's sails. And I'm going to ask you something. If you're ready to take your personal and professional growth to the next level, I need you to hit that like button, share this podcast, and subscribe to it so you can keep getting this value each and every single week. And don't forget to check out The Noble Knights, which is a community of men online for free where you could find the support, accountability, and the mentorship you need to achieve your goals. Join us and become a part of a community of like-minded men on a mission to elevate their capacity for life. And I'm excited because we're getting some wind in our sails today from my guest, CEO and founder, podcast host, dynamic serial entrepreneur, Ricardo Regalado, aka Ricky, on the show. Ricky, man, thanks for being on.
Nah, man, it's a pleasure to be here. I like being on this side. I like being on this side.
Absolutely. Well, it's good to have you on, and yes, being on the other side, being that you have the podcast as well, Cleaners and Cocktails, which is awesome. But I want to make sure to not just with the podcast, but offer you an opportunity to introduce yourself and speak directly to the audience in your own words. So please take the podcast, hop in the host seat for a second, talk to the folks, and then I'll take the reins again, and we can go from there.
Well, yeah, man, thank you. Yeah, like you said, Ricardo is the name that my mother gave me, so I go by Ricardo, but my friends call me Ricky, so you can call me Ricky. I am a man that is a father, a husband, a business owner, a business leader. The industry that I play in and I have fun in is the cleaning industry. And I say that because we have multiple different brands. I have a family cleaning business called Regalado Services, which is my cousin's last name, Pedroza. My last name is Regalado. You put those two together, that's Regalado. It all started there. That is a company that we launched 8 years ago. It has opened the doors for us to open a maintenance company called Rosa Contractors and Maintenance. It allowed me to launch a software company, which is what I lead the charge in now, which is called Route. That's getroute.com. It is a software to help cleaning business owners grow, manage, and scale their cleaning companies. And then I have fun and enjoy myself with, like you said, the podcast, which is back here, Cleaning and Cocktails. People break down a little bit and open up when they have a cocktail. So I was like, you know what? Let's talk about cleaning, the most sexiest industry in the world, and talk about and do it over a cocktail. And really, I get the spotlight, Ted. I get the spotlight cleaning business owners because it's an unglamorous industry, blue collar, gritty, doesn't get a lot of spotlight. So I wanted to give back and put a spotlight on my colleagues and my peers and an industry that has changed my life, man.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. I love it, and definitely an industry that deserves that spotlight. And I should introduce some cocktails onto this podcast, and we'd be able to go real deep with some of the guests that we have on. For my cocktail today, it's just a protein shake. I just finished a
Yeah,
workout,
no, me too.
but
I got you.
Ricky, man,
Celsius.
why the cleaning business? What got you started in it? That's my dog. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, but yeah,
yeah,
why the
man.
cleaning business, man?
Everybody, yeah, you know what? That's a question that I always get asked too. And because, yeah, you think about it, I went to school, college, got my degree, not to be in the cleaning industry, though, man. To be honest, I wanted to be a sports agent coming out of college. I played basketball in college. I was infatuated with sports, but quickly realized it was tough because those agents never leave their job. So I had to figure something else out. And my cousin at the time was coming to a lot of holiday parties, and he owned a cleaning company for many years, and I saw this guy making pretty good money, living his own life, always had a flexible schedule, and my wife and I were not happy with our jobs, man. So to be honest, it was like a moment where we said, "What could we do together?" We're best friends. At the time, she was my girlfriend, but we lived with each other. We just enjoyed each other. We're like, you know what? Let's take a risk. Let's build something together. We like being with each other, anyways. And we took a risk, took a loan out, uh, and we're here, man. Honestly, there was no intention in opening up a cleaning company, but the opportunity came. We took advantage, and we haven't looked back since.
How scary was that risk? You mentioned we took a risk, and I can imagine any guys listening, if they have a partner, if they have, their ride or die, right? But then you look at them like, hey, I'm about to take this loan out. That becomes a different conversation. So, what was that risk like?
Dude, so let me tell you, at first already the risk was big, Ted, right? The risk was like we took a 40K loan out, we emptied our bank accounts. My wife had a 401K with Estee Lauder that we emptied out, and we're like, let's do this. We did not realize that my cousin did not really do the financials the way you should have. Again, I'm a first time business owner. I don't really know what I'm doing. My wife doesn't know either. We're just like, hey, let's do this. Uh, Quickly realized that he wasn't making the profit that we thought he was making. So one thing I learned is due diligence. We did not do much due diligence. But dude, it was okay, whatever. We were together, so that's all that mattered. But it was scary because I was the man of the
Mhm.
relationship, so I had to carry the weight and said, "Babe, this is on me. We're gonna make this work. Trust me. Trust." It was a lot about trust, man. And she is my ride or die. We're together to this day. We have two beautiful boys. She gets to stay at home now, and the fruits of our labor is she's enjoying raising our boys. So, but man, that first year, I'll quickly go into the risk and the scariness is we were making $1,000 each a month. We were living with my mom and dad. Then a year into it, my mom and dad get divorced. We're still living together. Then my brother decides to come in and move in with us at a two-bedroom house. But this is natural. I'm Mexican. We usually have like 10 people that live in a two-bedroom anyways. Uh, I get a DUI 2 months in. I get my cousin, dude, everything. So many things that stacked up against us. So it was probably the scariest first year or 1 year span of my entire life. Was that first year of business that we had together.
Mm. Take a morning where all that was stacked up. Everybody in the house, your space is cramped. You haven't had a moment of silence since you last went to the bathroom doing a number two. You guys know what I'm talking about that are listening. And it's piling up in terms of the weight of what you're trying to do. What gets Ricky out of bed that morning?
Dude, and that's a great point to touch on, man, because I live to this day, I still live the same way I did that moment that you just mentioned. Because it happened a lot. I go to number two. That's my spot. That's my zone. Don't interrupt me. That's where I get shit done. Is I I said the only thing I have control of is my own outlook. And my own outlook that my father always taught me was just be nice, be good, be positive. So I start my day with positivity, I end my day with positivity. And I did that even at that moment is all I said was these are the cards I'm dealt with. I can bitch about it, complain, waste another day or waste another week of being negative, or flip it, be positive, smile, laugh about it, enjoy the time that I have with my family because they were in the business with us at the time. And just dig through, man. Dig through. You wake up tomorrow, it's a different day. So I start with positivity,
Mhm.
I end with positivity. I literally just did this yesterday, Ted. It was a tough day for me yesterday here at the office. And I used that same concept and philosophy.
Mm. I appreciate you sharing that too, because a lot of times, and I tell people on the podcast, we could see, the end game and where these business owners and where everybody we would look at from, the highlight reel on Instagram, social media, look at everyone who gets to a level of success and think to ourselves, man, they probably don't have any bad days. But to your point, saying just as recently as yesterday, we have a bad day. The bad days still come. It's the resilience we learn on the climb that keeps us growing when those bad days happen even further. Um, I'd like to look at the other side of that spectrum of from those mornings of the bad days to getting to the point where you're the fastest growing facility services management company in Chicago. Um, what does the other half feel like when you're waking up and you're looking at updates in the business and things are rocking and rolling, and I call it cruise control, right? Like you need so much energy to take off and so much energy to climb an altitude, but there's just one day where you're like, oh snap, this business is running cruise control. What was that moment like, and when did you realize it?
Oh man, I got goosebumps as you said that. Yeah, because my family runs the Rosalato business now. Rosalato, my brother runs it, my cousin runs it, my mother. I have 24 family members in that business. Uh, they run it. I don't have to wake up. I used to have to wake up right in the beginning, and like everything mattered to me. HR, sales, marketing, the website, hiring people, like everything. I was in charge of everything. To where a couple years ago, it got to the point where I wasn't in charge of anything anymore. Right, the team was in charge of everything, but here I go trying to start another company. So the software company, I'm back to square one. But it feels, I feel grateful. That's the one word I could say is I feel grateful to have my team, my family, everybody around me. Um, but man, I'll tell you, I wake up knowing that there will probably be a problem every day I wake up, but that problem is an opportunity, man. Like all problems, my team gets sick of me telling it to them, but when they're upset and they're bitching about something, I'm like, what's the opportunity, guys? They're like, no, no, Rick, it's not opportunity. We got a problem. I'm like, I know. What's the opportunity though? And they're like, I don't understand how you could be so positive about this. But man, I lost my father 3 years ago. So I take every day, I don't take it for granted. Is every day we have an opportunity to do something. So I like that you said that because it is cool to wake up and feel grateful every day to know that some of the things that I was involved with so deep, every moment, every minute
Yeah.
is now ran by somebody else. And I'm happy about that.
Yeah, no, I love that, man, and that gratitude piece is so important. And you mentioned not taking a day for granted. Sorry about your father, by the way. But it's one of those things of I've learned presence in recent recent years. By recent years, last year and a half, I've learned presence, and that's allowed me to really squeeze the fruit out of every minute that I have. It's allowed me to make the most out of the podcast that we have together. The time I had with my wife right before recording this podcast, changing my daughter's diaper. Um, that gratitude piece helps me understand the weight of this life and these days that we have. And it helps me be present and show up so much more, which perfectly segues into the question I have of, and I love the context that I did not know that you and your now wife started this journey together and living with all the family members to and you're like me because my wife will point it out. Like you get one thing successful, one thing running. It's like great. Now's the time to relax, and then you like squirrel another project. Let's jump in, and you
Oh yeah.
forgot all the pain it took to start the other one. But
Duh.
being that you're now leaning into route, but still you mentioned two boys and the wife. How Ricky? A lot of guys are sitting on the edge of their seats for this one. How could we be loving, present fathers and husbands while also chasing that ambition?
Yeah, man. Whew. That is the silver bullet question that has no silver bullet, man. Like I people try to preach work-life balance. Dude, if you are an entrepreneur, that's out the door. I feel. That's my opinion. But I feel like when you are an entrepreneur, you then have a moment in life you become a builder, which then from a builder you become a leader. I'm at a leader stage right now in my life where I'm leading different teams, I'm leading different brands, but I'm leading my life into an opportunity to find more time and presence because I still struggle to just
Mhm.
yesterday. Again, everything is like literally within 24 hours. Uh, my son is 6 years old. Nico just turned 6 a week ago, and he'll call me out. He'll call me out. Dad, get off the phone. Dad, stop messaging. Dad, stop working. And like he is aware. Like when it's weekend, he's like, Dad, are you off work? I'm like, ah, yeah, but son, like I talk to him like an adult. I really do because I feel like he is understanding what I have to do every day by me talking to him like an adult. And I see him upset sometimes. Dude, he cries. He's not happy sometimes because I'm not present. All I can do is try and work towards it. And the only tip I would give people is just recognize the other, your kid's emotions and your kid's face. They'll tell you. Like, again, I'll quickly try to get a message in and he'll be right there. Like, I swear to God, he smells me messaging something. Dad, get off. Okay, cool. Yes, son, your problem. No problem. You got it. Put the phone down. Boom. So I still answer messages. I can't turn it off, but you know what I can do is pause. Like that is what I have control on is I can pause things. But my wife, I'll tell her every time is, babe, like right now with Route, we're in critical moments, right? We're a startup. We raise money. VCs are involved. We have a timeline. I have goals I have to hit. I have milestones. I have people's mouths that I have to feed. Um, Give me the time, and I'll give you the time right back. Right. So it's a game, but dude, be open, especially with your kids. You'd be surprised. Again, my son is 6. He knows what the podcast is about. We have fun. We record things together. I'm having him on the podcast like next week. He's going to come in here to the office and we're going to shoot the shit. Um, 'Cause he gets to understand daddy's working. Daddy's, trying to provide for us for tomorrow,
Yeah.
without forgetting that I still have to provide time for him today though. So it's tough. There's no answer. Just
Yeah.
you gotta get by.
Yeah. No, I love that you said, can't turn it off, but you can pause. And
Mhm.
also, and I saw little Nico on your Instagram the other day too. He was in the studio getting mic'd up. That was awesome. But
Dude,
it's one of the things
natural. The
where
kid's a natural.
what we do is a gift. Is he?
Yeah, he is.
it's a it's amazing that what we do allows the integration. And when I say the integration of um, you know, my wife comes to the coffee shop with me when I gotta bust out some work. Or I'll have a business owner or a client meeting, and my wife will be at the coffee shop a couple tables away. And then once I'm done, I'm with her. We'll walk to the coffee shop together. We'll go for a walk right before my calls, things like that. Because to your point, um, she'll understand that this is something that's gonna pay dividends in the future if we water it now. And it's going to take a sacrifice, not just from me putting in the work, but for her sacrificing some of that time. And our daughter, who is 11 weeks old, doesn't understand that quite yet, but she's going to be calling me out soon. That's going to be the biggest accountability partner I have. um what is it you hope they see in your grind and in your growth when Nico sits down to talk on the podcast? What do you hope that they get from that?
Yeah, man. So I want him to see me enjoying what I do, right? Like having fun, showing him like fulfillment in the efforts that, hey man, if I'm gonna sacrifice my time away from you, at least I'm doing something I love and I'm doing something I enjoy, but I'm working my ass off. So I do want him to see me stressed out sometimes. And he has. He's dad, what's wrong? Are you okay? I'm like,
Hmm.
man, it was a tough day today, Nico. It was a tough day. And I'll just keep it at that for him. But because like I used to see that with my mom and dad, and that's why I am who I am today. Is like I saw them work their asses off, come in the morning, work, go at night, work. They worked multiple jobs. All I knew was my dad and mom worked 2 jobs all the time. So I was raised by my grandma for a while. So like I've that's been instilled in me as like, dude, I can't stop with one company. I got to build the second one. I got to build the third. I got to keep it going. And I just want the same thing for them is I don't
Yeah.
want them to get anything easy because dude, easy doesn't build character at all.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. And it's funny because both my parents are immigrants from Haiti, and I watched them bust their butts growing up just to give me a shot at life. And I've landed somewhere in the world where my parents are like, "You're good, chill, relax, like you've made it. You could stop now." And I'm like, "Nope, nope. Like you guys have given me more than an opportunity. You've given me the baton. I say right like." You've given me that work ethic, but you've given me the baton, and I saw how far you ran with it. I don't expect. Why would I expect my leg to be any shorter or lax? I'm trying to run with this even further to carry the momentum. And then when I pass off the baton to my kids, they'll take it what they want, where they want. But to your point, that work ethic is something I've seen, and I'm thankful for the opportunity that my parents gave me. Though I've reached a certain level of success, um, I'm still searching for what Ted's capable of. I'm not looking for a number. I'm not looking for a level or a status. I'm just looking for what I'm capable of, and that's what I want to tap into. Um, how important is it for any of the guys listening to invest in their brand, their personal brand?
Oh man, it's a great question, man. I like this is something I share with a lot of our audience and industry, like in the cleaning business, especially because brands. There's a lot of mom and pops in our space, but I cannot stress enough how much brand identity is
Mhm.
is important, man. Brand identity has been so important for me, Ted. Like I've got equity and capital and people coming to me with money to say, I want to invest in you, your personal brand. Like that means I did something right with with my brand, right? And like this is anybody can do it with social media, with the platform of YouTube and like media channels. Like invest in you as a personal brand, whether you're a business owner or not. Like you could be a subject matter expert at any corporate job that you're at, be the best at that job, create a podcast, speak about it, share your insights, because then you become a thought leader. And if you're a thought leader, you have an identity. And if you have brand identity, you yourself, your voice, what you amplify out there is worth something. Right. So I cannot stress enough how much, it feels you cringe sometimes. You're like, you know, damn, well, you're on TV all the time. So for you're good if you're doing what you do. But others, when it was my first time doing a podcast or creating a video for a YouTube channel or a social media post, and I was like, oh man, was that cheesy? Should I have done that? Like, dude, get past that. Just document. I learned from Gary Vee, one of the best.
Yeah,
Document, document, document. Content lasts forever. So brand is content. Content is a brand.
yeah, yeah, 100%. And listen, I had the same challenge because with weather, I mean, I'm people are turning on for the forecast, and I'm just talking about what I found, my research, and here's my forecast, and here's what I'm expecting. When it came to social media, I had a hard time because I thought it was about me, and I say I thought it was about me because after doing it more and more, I found out what resonates the most is when you do it for the audience. You do it for the people. And even now, the questions that I ask, some of them are experiences that I've had, some struggles that I've gone through, but also some of the questions are specific to some of the plights and the challenges I know the listeners are going to through.
Mhm.
So I had the same reservation when leaning into my personal brand and like, oh man, why does anybody want to hear about me or of me and whatnot? And then it's like, okay, it's not about you. It's about you documenting your experience to provide value to somebody else who wants to follow in those footsteps, right? Kind of what does a leader do? Takes to the arrows. You go first, so you take the arrows. And because I took the arrows, hopefully that saves somebody else the pain to get to where I'm at and speed up their trajectory a little bit. Um,
If iron sharpens iron, so does one man sharpen another. But if you're a man and you're alone or listening to this, then who sharpens you? What's going on, guys? Ted Phaeton here, host of the Modern Man Podcast, also founder of the Noble Knights Mastermind Group. And I'm just out here encouraging you to find your circle. Maybe you're on a personal growth journey and nobody around you understands the new mentality that you're possessing. That's okay. You can find an online community that will pour into you, will navigate your goals and navigate your obstacles, share their experiences, resources, and more. Join the Noble Knights Mastermind Group and try us out for free to tap into a community of men helping each other scale up and reach their goals.
Check out themodernmanpodcast.com. That segues pretty nicely into community. I wanted to touch on community because I know how big that is for you. and how important it is. Is it stronger together?
Oh yeah, right there. Sure.
Yeah,
So do
talk about that.
stronger together. Yeah. So we so in the cleaning. Again, I'll just reference to the cleaning industry. The our like the what I live and breathe. In the beginning, it was I wasn't proud of being a cleaning business owner. In my head, I would go to a networking event. I was like, man, I went to school to just own a cleaning company. Is this really what it came to? Uh, and then quickly, as I started going, and I realized like, man, we're building something here. I'm having fun with it. My family's, I got something here. I think, you know what? I am happy to be a cleaning company owner. So then I would go to events and I saw that they were very closed off. A lot of cleaning business owners wouldn't share much information. It was a very competitive environment. And I wanted to change that. And I was like, man, why can't we collaborate and like work closer together? This makes no sense. I'm from Chicago. You're in Atlanta. Like, why can't we talk about business? I need help. I want to learn more about the industry. So at the industry events, I would start to bring more people together and just create this environment that I thought was awesome. Collaboration is awesome to grow and scale your brand and your mindset, right? And then I said during COVID, when I launched the podcast, Ted, I was like, man, a lot of people were like, I'd love to get it together in real life. So we had our first event in Chicago. And when we brought all these people together, this was over 130 cleaning business owners from 26 different states, right? So very, very, you know, spread out. And
Whew.
we had this like feeling like everybody was working, talking, sharing, collaborating. I'm like, man, this is an awesome feeling. We are stronger together. I just said it by accident. And like one of the people in the attendees said, that's it. That's what we are. And my cousin Tony, he's our Mexican MacGyver. He's like an artist by trade. I swear he's not, but I say he is. He went and started sketching and he took like, the word and the emblem and then he took the R and he made the logo. And then to this day, that's our motto. That's how we grow. Whether you're in the cleaning business or I have a family business podcast called Stronger Together. It's you truly are stronger together. This community, whether you're in cleaning or in my other passion is family businesses, you're stronger together, man. At the end of the day, uh, again, it's strength is in numbers, man. It really is. Whether it's a family or your friends or your colleagues, your audience, your community.
Yeah. What was the most surprising thing you saw when all those cleaning business owners came together?
We all had the same problems that then became opportunities that no, not many were different. Everybody had the same ambitions. There's that same passion and feeling. Everybody has the same desires. We're not much different from each other. And like when you're talking about that and you're sharing experiences, it's like it's like I've known you forever. I don't know who you are, but yet we're connecting because we've got the same situations, the same scenarios, but we have no idea who we are. So that was just that was intriguing to me. I was like, this is amazing. Like, I don't know who this person is, yet we've gone through the same struggles. We are dealing with the same pain points. We need the same solutions. I feel like your family, but we're not. So it just felt different, to be honest. I mean, my friends joke because they're like, dude, all your content is about cleaning. I'm like, yes, I know. I love it. That's all I know is the cleaning industry.
Yeah. Hey, hey, it puts food on the table, pays the bills.
Yep. I'm
um,
Ricky the cleaner to my friends.
what Yeah, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. What what would you say is the biggest impact community had on your life?
Uh Man, that's a good one. I'd say the biggest impact it had was I didn't realize I was impacting so many people. Like that is my driver is how much impact I can like again, if I die tomorrow, man, like I want my funeral to be not an inconvenience for people. I want people to attend my funeral because they're like, you know what, mark that shit on the calendar. I can't miss this. Ricky made such a positive impact on my life. Everything they did for us impacted us. I have control over that, and that is what I get a sense of not reward, but like the feeling I get to knowing that we made a positive impact on people. Man, that just feels awesome. It really does.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic, and I hope you don't mind. I'm hitting you with some rapid fire questions right now, kind of coming towards the end of the podcast. Figured you're a wealth of knowledge, Ricky,
No,
so why not ask? And you mentioned something earlier because we have a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of men who are transitioning out of their day job, or they're scaling their startup, or they're working their side hustle. And you mentioned with Route, you have venture capitalists, you have VCs that you're answering to, solving problems. When it comes to raising capital, what are the challenges that you face there, and what advice would you give to any guys that are listening who have that business venture and they're really excited about it, but they don't know how to fund it?
yeah, man. Whew, that's a whole podcast right there. I've been through the ups and downs. Like, so Rosalado itself, man, I never had to raise money. I still haven't raised money. That was always like that business grew, and the growth that it had funded itself. I was lucky. I was blessed that we scaled and we are at the size that we are. So I just did traditional banking for that, right? Lines of credit, um, loans, and just that was it for that. Route, dude, it's a tech startup. We have this vision, this idea that needs development, needs coding, needs go to market, needs understanding of customer acquisition. It's online, it's a B2B SaaS platform. Like it is very different. There is no invoice and service that you do and then you get paid. Like I have to convince people to want to sign up and subscribe to my software, but you need a team for that. I bootstrapped as long as I could. We bootstrapped for 2 years. I invested over $1 million into the route of my own money, Rosalato's money, right? It got to the point where we needed VC money. We needed capital. And dude, this shit ain't easy for, especially for black and brown founders. I don't like to make things about, color or your ethnic background. But again, when I started raising money, everybody would tell me here is, dude, go to your friends and family. I'm like, who? What friends and family? I have no friends and family that have capital like that. There are no angel investors in my
That's why I'm
life
here.
or in my friend in my network, right? I need friends with money. Uh, so the first go at it failed. Failed. Nobody. I got like they talk about 100 no's. I got like 200 no's. So head down, went back at it, said fuck it, I got to get after it. Developed a better story, developed a better narrative, proved that I can be this person that can do something with this business if somebody gives me an opportunity. So then I went back to pitching. I pitched last year. I won a pitch competition. I've got a great story. I built the narrative. I showed what the roadmap is. I did my homework because you got to do us. We're unfortunate that we don't have the circle, so we got to do our homework. We got to understand that at the end of the day, if you raise money, you've got to 10x that money. So we were successful. I raised almost about $2 million in VC money on a concept and an idea. I now am tasked to prove it out, and I have to 10x this idea, right? But I would tell you, not all ideas need capital
Yeah,
like that, though, man. We went the VC route because we need to scale. I would argue there's also private equity, there's alternative equity, there's growth capital. There's now new ways, or there's new equity where it's founders like us that exited, and now we've got money and we want to invest. It's not that it's easier money; it's money that your story matters. Like me, when I get to a point, I want to invest in other up and coming founders, but I'm going to invest in them. But you need to prove that you can build a business. People can't throw money away, man. Like, show me that there is a trajectory for you to grow
yeah,
your business. That's what I'm tasked to do. So I hated raising money for a minute there because I thought it was unfair. I had that whole against me situation. But again, going back to every problem is an opportunity. I was like, man, I'm a dumbass. I got to show them that there is light at the end of the tunnel. I am going to return their money. I'm going to 10x their money. And here's how. Uh, they got this a business, man. Like, like it's
Mm.
you got to know that. So if anybody's got questions, dude, I've been through it all on raising capital. I am here. Lot more bad than good, but I was successful. You could say that now.
Hey, yeah, you made it through the battle, and regardless of the scars, here you are, right? And I appreciate you keeping it a buck because we are gonna have. I always say this: life is unfair, but there's an unfair advantage in your favor somewhere. That's it.
That's it.
And finding that is how we get there. Exactly. We gotta. I'm always gonna leverage to my strengths. All right, right, and that's what got me to where I am. I work on my weaknesses, and I up my ante whenever I can. But when it comes to that performance, when it comes to getting through those days and putting that head down and grinding, it's my strengths that bust through the wall and get to the other side. So leaning into that has been huge. Um, is there anything I didn't ask you that you think would be important to touch on before we wrap up, man?
Man, the only other thing I'd say, especially because modern man, we're talking about the men in this world right now,
Yeah.
is for those that are married and running a business or at a high caliber, executive position. I know, dude, it's a lot. There's a lot of weight on our shoulders where we have to do so much to deliver results for our families. Is the wife like one thing? Shout out to my wife, Marley. And
Mhm.
the one thing that she said to me that I gotta believe is common with everybody else's wives too, right? Like maybe, ask your wife too, Ted, is like, she's like, Rick, I'm not asking for a lot. The only thing she ever asked me, which it took me years to realize this now, but is like just time. Like just me and her. Like she just needs like a nice date every once in a while. She needs me, right? Like that's it. Dude, that's ever she ever wants is just give me you and we're good. I don't need everything else. And I didn't realize that until recently.
Mhm.
And that really has helped me even step up another level of tenacity and grit with what I do is when I know it's her time and I got to give her time, I just got to give her the time. Like the fancy shit, the doing this, that, it ends up being just time, man. So for all the men out there that are husbands, like, dude, just stop, pause, and like book a one-on-one, a date, book a trip, just book something with them, and you'd be surprised how like just by spending time, like you get so much back.
Yeah. All the booking links I send, you could just go ahead and send one for for the date, right? But that's so true, man, because it's one of those things where and there's so many ways to say it where you give the world the best of you and then your family the rest of you, right? Or you drain everything you have at work, you give your all and you come in thinking that's your time to clock out when I come home from work and I finish this podcast, that's me clocking in. Like I'm going to go clock in, um, because that's not my lax. I'm still putting on the hat of husband, putting on the hat of father, and the reality is it's gonna be a grind to get all those going, and uh, being able to navigate that is not easy. And I love describing things as seasons. There are seasons where when my daughter was born, I was able to step away from the business. It was automated for a while and it ran for 6 weeks in my absence. And my wife got 100% of Teddy and I was 100% of father for 6 weeks and she loved it. Now it's back at it. And that season was great and it's over, but there'll be another season we go on vacation, another season where we could ease up a little bit. But leaning into those and then kind of taking the breaths when you can has been huge to get me from one to another. So I appreciate you touching on that because a lot of the guys listening, I know, resonate with that aspect of growing and pushing to that next level, but still navigating and loving the family that they have right now. You mentioned volunteering to answer any questions someone might have when it comes to raising money or anything about the cleaning business or when it comes to being an entrepreneur and a husband and a father. I'd love to give our audience an opportunity to reach out, connect with you, Ricky. What are the best links and platforms to connect with you on?
Oh man, I'm active on Instagram at Ricky Regalado. I'm active on LinkedIn. That one's under Ricardo Regalado. And then yeah, man, I mean just message me. I'm good at I DM everybody pretty quickly back. Yeah, man, I'm here and I'm definitely a shoulder to lean on when it comes to also family business because that's one thing that people struggle with. And I embrace it. I enjoy it. So
Yeah.
here to help.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Leaning into it and making family part of the business, right? Like I was setting up this podcast, like my little studio, I was putting everything up with my daughter in my hand, and I'm saying, "This is the button, this is the camera, this is and just kind of making her a part of the experience, much like what you do with your son, with him sitting down and playing on the mic." Last question, Ricky, and it's usually the heaviest one, so if it takes a moment or a second to answer, not a problem, but what is something you've seen or something that's happened to you that shapes the way you view the world as a man?
Oh man, I take this one back to my father, losing my father. So I had a moment of weakness for a full week after my father passed because it was very abrupt. It was one day he's here, one day he was gone, and I had hatred in my brain for that week, man. I was not a happy, as you can imagine, right? Not a happy person. I let anger and hatred get the best of me for that week, and I just remembered snapping out of it, and I snapped out of it, and to this day I've been snapped out of it. Is I talk to my dad probably more now than I ever did before. Not that I didn't speak to him a lot, but like, my I would see him and I'd speak to him, but now I get the chance to speak to him and when I pray or when I don't attend church all the time. I do when I can, but I'm learning to speak to God, but I'm speaking to him actually. So it's awesome to be able to speak to him on a daily situation where before I didn't, man. I really didn't involve him in too much of the aspects of running the business or my day to day or my family. When I was with him, I would just talk about soccer and us and family between us. So now I just it's been something that has weighed on me of positivity, man. It was one week of my life where I hated people. I didn't believe in God for that week. I didn't believe in a lot of shit. I was upset. And it was a dark moment. Like, but I'll tell you, I snapped out of it. And to this day, I've been snapped out of it. And I don't let shit get to me because that was one of the darkest and lowest points in my life is losing him. So what did I do? I took that hell of a problem situation and I looked at an opportunity to get closer with him and just embrace life much better.
Yeah, man. Ricky, bro, you're a leader, you're a warrior, and you are a man of honor. And facing that, it was a mourning process. And I understand that was a dark time for you. And there's a lot of guys listening who might still be going through their dark time and they haven't been able to snap out of it yet. So I appreciate you sharing that because there's probably a guy listening who needs to snap out of it himself because man, there's such good life on the other end of that. And
Mhm.
you just showed you just showed your leadership right there. So thank you, man. I appreciate that.
For sure, man. I appreciate you.
I'm gonna wrap up with a couple of the gems that you left along the way, and because I was sitting here taking notes. I know a lot of the guys listening are either driving, working out, or they're active while listening. So again, Ricky, thank you for being on. CEO and founder, podcast host, dynamic serial entrepreneur. First starting off with, we took a risk. And not just taking a risk, you and your lady taking a risk together, but it panned out because look at you guys now doing the due diligence and really doing your homework to start the lessons of the first year in business and some of the adversities that you can avoid along the way. Something Ricky said earlier on was there will probably be a problem, knowing that there's always something that's going to go wrong, but where's the opportunity in that? And the only thing that you have control over is your outlook. Be nice, be good, be positive, and dig through. Feel grateful because though you might have a dark morning today, you could be on cruise control tomorrow. And both are going to require the same gratitude and the same attitude. Entrepreneurs, starting off as a builder and then becoming a leader, understanding when you're in that season, offering, for kind of fast forwarding my notes, offering that time, because your kids are going to spell love Time. Your family's going to spell love Time. Offering that time, giving them all of you, and then make sure that those who follow you see that you enjoy what you do. Give your all and enjoy what you do. Be fulfilled in what you do. Brand identity is important because when you do it right, others will invest in you, as they should. When you prove that it works, speaking about building capital, seeking investments from venture capitalists or from those around you, proving that it works, doing your homework and 10xing that money and that investment. And I'm happy to be a cleaning company owner. We are stronger together, building that community, embracing where you are, enjoying where you are, and finding that community and bringing them all together. And of course, better story, better narrative, improved myself. If the world is telling you no, and Ricky, I don't think a lot of guys picked up on that. I had to take the notes. You said I had to go back, crafted a better story, better narrative, and proved myself. So if anybody's
Mhm.
getting the no's from the world, dust yourself off, improve yourself, and come back even stronger and better. Guys, thank you so much for making it to the end. Ricky, thank you again. And everybody, I'm going to ask that you hit that like button, smash that subscribe button, because after this podcast episode, I know you want to listen each and every single week. Also, share this with a friend you know that can get value from it. Leave us a rating to let us know how we're doing. That's the only way we improve, guys. And as I always say at the end of the episode, everybody wants the sunshine, but they don't want the rain. But you can't get the pleasure without first the pain. Let's grow.